In the remote hollows of the Uniccoy Mountains, where the morning mist clings to gnarled trees and the wind whispers secrets long forgotten, 17 women vanished without a trace. The year was 1904. At the edge of civilization, 15 miles from the nearest town, two brothers ran a trading post. Ephraim Blackwood, the charming, trusted merchant whose smile could disarm any suspicion, and Silas, his silent, looming shadow. Travelers spoke of their generosity. Families praised their hospitality. Yet beneath their neatly kept homestead, something unimaginable lurked, hidden in darkness. It began with a boot discovered in the spring thaw, caught on a creekside log. Jacob Merrill, a local farmer, recognized it instantly. Leather, worn but well-crafted, the kind a schoolteacher would wear, and faint initials carved inside revealed its owner. Eleanor Vance, a young teacher who had seemingly left for Knoxville months earlier, had never left the hollow. Deputy Sheriff Arland Hayes, an outsider in the mountains, methodical and unyielding, understood immediately that the mountains had hidden a terrible secret. Hayes had learned long ago that the word of a respected local man could silence suspicion, but he also knew that silence could hide horror. Eleanor's disappearance was not an isolated incident. Each woman who entered the Blackwood trading post seemed to vanish. A mail-order bride, a widow, a land seeker, each story conveniently explained by Ephraim. But Hayes noticed patterns others dismissed. The ledger at Ephraim's desk, open and unguarded, held cryptic entries, small notations beside dates and purchases, initials and objects later revealed to be the personal belongings of women who would never leave the hollow. Items that would have traveled with them remained behind. Hayes copied each page with a steady hand, knowing that these small records were clues to a monstrous truth. He traced the Blackwood supply orders in Chattanooga, far from their mountain hollow, and discovered massive shipments of lead chemical, heavy chains, manacles, and locks, items purchased far beyond any legitimate need. Salesmen remembered delivering barrels of lead and tools, yet no tannery existed. The younger Blackwood, Silas, unnervingly silent during those deliveries, bore scratches on his arms, unexplained marks that hinted at the horror within. Hayes gathered sworn testimony, documented invoices, and traced every transaction, constructing a mountain of evidence that could withstand even the tightest scrutiny. Returning to Monroe County, Hayes obtained a search warrant. The Blackwood homestead appeared orderly, welcoming even, yet a trained eye noted subtle inconsistencies. Floorboards, worn oak surrounding a section of new pine, flexed differently beneath a hand's pressure. Removing them revealed a hidden cavity, a cedar chest containing the personal effects of women who had trusted the brothers. Wedding rings, hairbrushes, identification papers, letters, and treasured heirlooms, each item a chilling testament to lives stolen and erased. Some objects were familiar, connecting directly to missing women, like Sarah Kemp's pearl brooch or Eleanor Vance's silver hairbrush. The Hope chest revealed only the beginning. The root cellar, once a storage space, now bore the unmistakable design of a prison. Bolted chains, manacles, and stone worn smooth by years of use suggested long-term confinement. The air reeked of lead, a chemical used to dispose of evidence. Hayes understood fully that what had been planned and executed in that hollow went far beyond any common crime. It was methodical, premeditated, and sustained over 6 years. Arrests followed. Ephraim and Silas were separated, and Hayes began the careful process of interrogating the silent brother. Silas, isolated from his brother, eventually began to speak, revealing not just the crimes, but the meticulous planning behind them. Ephraim had identified vulnerable women, engaged them with kindness, and brought them into his hollow under the guise of business. Silas had been the instrument, carrying out the cruel logistics of imprisonment. They had kept meticulous records, itemizing women's possessions, storing them as trophies, even using the chemical to dispose of bodies. Silas's 5-page confession detailed abductions, imprisonment, and murder with horrifying clarity. Evidence mounted. Ledger entries documented acquisitions. Receipts proved the scale of premeditation. The hope chest contained irrefutable proof of victims. Chains in the cellar showed long-term imprisonment. Skeletal remains confirmed at least 7 deaths, with hints at even more. Ephraim's own statements in court demonstrated that he believed he had the right to claim any woman who entered his domain. The trial was swift but devastating. Witness testimony, physical evidence, and Silas's confession left no doubt. The jury took less than 3 hours to deliver a verdict, guilty on all counts. Both brothers were sentenced to death. The execution was set for November, a grim closure to a case that would forever haunt the hollows of the Uniccoy Mountains. The story of the Blackwood brothers is not just one of murder. It is a story of trust exploited, of innocence destroyed, of a community deceived by charm and reputation. It is a story that reminds us how easily darkness can hide beneath the veneer of civility, and how the quiet, isolated corners of the world can harbor unimaginable evil. Each item recovered, each ledger entry, each confession ensures that the victims are remembered, that their lives, though stolen, are not forgotten. And as the wind sweeps through the hollows of Monroe County, the mountains themselves seem to whisper a warning. Never take kindness at face value, and always look closely at the shadows behind the smiles of those you trust.